The dust devils danced with manic energy across the cracked earth, mimicking the turmoil in Amina's heart. Before her lay the twisted wreckage of the solar panel array, the project that was supposed to bring light, literally and figuratively, to her village of Zavia, nestled deep within the arid lands of northern Kenya. A rogue lightning strike the previous night had reduced months of painstaking work to scorched metal and shattered dreams. Amina sank to her knees amidst the debris, the dry earth hot against her skin. Tears, hot and stinging, traced past through the dust on her cheeks. This wasn't just about the lost equipment. It was about the extinguished hope in the eyes of the women who had looked to her, the hesitant optimism of the elders, the wide-eyed wonder of the children who had already begun to imagine a world beyond the flickering kerosene lamps. "It's over," a voice rasped behind her. Elder Jabari, his face etched with a lifetime of weathering the harsh realities of their land, stood leaning heavily on his gnarled staff. "The gods have spoken, Amina. Some dreams are too big for a place like ours." A wave of despair washed over her, threatening to drown the fierce spirit that usually burned within her. Had he spoken the truth? Was her ambition fueled by a chance? Encounter with a grainy documentary about Elon Musk and his audacious visions, simply a foolish fantasy in the face of such relentless hardship. It had started innocently enough. One sweltering afternoon, while huddled in the shade of a sprawling acacia tree, a traveling merchant had shown a group of villagers a video on his battered tablet. It was a snippet about SpaceX, about rockets, soaring into the inky blackness, carrying satellites that whispered secrets across continents. And there was Elon Musk, his eyes gleaming with an almost fanatical belief in the impossible. For Amina, a young woman who had always gazed at the stars with a yearning she couldn't articulate, something had clicked. Musk's relentless pursuit of seemingly outlandish goals, his unwavering conviction in the power of human ingenuity, had ignited a spark within her. She who had never left Zavia, who had learned about the world through tattered textbooks and the crackling static of a distant radio, began to devour any information she could find about technology, about space, about the audacious dream of connecting the world. She haunted the small library in the nearest town, a bumpy, hours-long journey away. She learned about solar energy, about basic electronics, about the principles of satellite communication. The villagers, initially amused by her unusual fascination, soon grew to respect her unwavering dedication. When she proposed a project to bring solar power to Zavia, demonstrating how it could transform their lives, powering water pumps, providing light for evening study, they pooled their meager resources, their faith in her outweighing their skepticism. The initial success of the solar project had been exhilarating. Children could now read after sunset. Women no longer had to trek miles for water every day, and a sense of progress, of hope, had begun to bloom in Zavia. But now, all of that lay in ruins. "No," Amina said, her voice barely a whisper at first, but gaining strength with each syllable. She pushed herself up, her hands clenched into fists, the dust clinging to her skin like a second skin. "No, Elder Jabari, the gods did not strike down our dream. The lightning was a test. A cruel one, yes, but a test nonetheless." She looked at the wreckage, not with despair, but with a renewed sense of determination. The documentary about Musk had shown his failures too, the exploding rockets, the setbacks. But he had never given up. His motivation wasn't just about success. It was about the relentless pursuit of progress, the unwavering belief in the potential of humanity to overcome any obstacle. That night, under a sky ablaze with a million distant stars, Amina couldn't sleep. The image of Musk, his face illuminated by the glow of mission control screens, kept flashing in her mind. His words gleaned from online interviews. "If something's important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it," echoed in her ears. She realized that the solar project had been just the first step. Her gaze drifted upwards to the silent, unreachable satellites that crisscrossed the night sky. They were the ultimate connection, the threads that wove the world together. A crazy idea began to take root, an idea so audacious it made her heart pound. Over the next few years, fueled by a fierce resolve and almost obsessive dedication, Amina embarked on an improbable journey. She wrote countless letters, often receiving no response, to universities and organizations involved in space technology. She taught herself advanced mathematics and physics using borrowed textbooks and online resources, often studying late into the night by the dim light of a single solar-powered lamp, a salvaged remnant of her first project. She faced ridicule and disbelief. People in the nearby towns whispered about the crazy woman from Zavia who dreamed of touching the stars. Even some in her own village grew weary of her seemingly futile efforts. But the memory of the hope that had blossomed with the solar project and the burning image of Musk's unwavering determination kept her going. A turning point came when a small, obscure foundation dedicated to supporting STEM education in underserved communities stumbled upon her application. A meticulously crafted proposal outlining her vision for improving connectivity in rural Africa using satellite technology. Intrigued by her passion and self-taught knowledge, they offered her a scholarship to study engineering at a university in Nairobi. Leaving Zavia was the hardest thing she had ever done. She carried with her the hopes and dreams of her village, the memory of the shattered solar panels serving as a constant reminder of the challenges ahead. The university was a different world, a whirlwind of new ideas and unfamiliar faces. She felt out of place, intimidated by the privileged backgrounds of some of her classmates. But the fire that Musk's story had ignited within her burned brighter than ever. She excelled in her studies, her innate curiosity and relentless work ethic compensating for any gaps in her prior education. She focused on electrical engineering and telecommunications, her mind constantly buzzing with ideas about how satellite technology could be adapted to the unique challenges of the African landscape. Years passed. Amina graduated at the top of her class and, with the continued support of the foundation, pursued further studies in satellite engineering abroad. She interned at space agencies, worked alongside brilliant minds, and absorbed every bit of knowledge she could. Yet she never forgot Zavia. Her dream was not just about personal achievement. It was about bringing the transformative power of connection to her people, to the countless other remote communities across Africa that remain marginalized and underserved. Finally, the day arrived when Amina returned to Kenya, not as the hopeful young woman who had left, but as a qualified satellite engineer. She carried with her not just degrees and accolades, but a concrete plan, a partnership with a forward-thinking telecommunications company, and a burning desire to make her vision a reality. The journey was far from over. There were bureaucratic hurdles, logistical nightmares, and the ever-present challenge of securing funding. But Amina, inspired by the very man who had dared to dream of colonizing Mars, met every obstacle with unwavering determination. She rallied her community, explaining the potential of satellite internet, the opportunities for education, healthcare, and economic growth that it could unlock. This time, when setbacks occurred, a delayed equipment shipment, a technical glitch. During testing, the despair was tempered with resilience. The memory of the broken solar panels served not as a symbol of failure, but as a testament to their ability to overcome adversity. And then, one day it happened. In the heart of Zavia, a small, unassuming antenna, powered by a more robust and lightning-protected solar array, began to hum. A connection was established, a signal beamed across vast distances, bouncing off a satellite orbiting high above the Earth. Amina stood in the village square, surrounded by the faces she had known her entire life, their eyes wide with anticipation. A young boy held up a tablet, his face illuminated by the glow of a web page loading, a window to the world opening before their very eyes. A wave of emotion washed over Amina, so profound it almost brought her to her knees again. But this time, the tears were not of despair, but of overwhelming joy and gratitude. Elder Jabari, his eyes glistening, placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did it, Amina," he said. his voice thick with emotion. "You brought the stars down to Zavia." In that moment, under the vast African sky, Amina knew that her journey, inspired by the audacious dreams of a faraway innovator, had come full circle. The motivation she had drawn from Elon Musk had not just propelled her personal ambitions. It had empowered her to become a catalyst for change, connecting her community, and perhaps one day, inspiring a new generation of dreamers in the heart of Africa. The dust devils still danced, but now they seemed to celebrate not the harshness of the land, but the indomitable spirit of a woman who dared to believe in the impossible.